Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by Genesis House and the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction and recovery. Join your hosts,
the Podfather, Jersey Ed,
Miss Meg,
as they break the silence and speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friends in Recovery Podcast. I am the Podfather, Mike Miles.
And I'm Jersey Ed, coming to you from my fucking garage, guys. This is crazy still. Still quarantined in here, still can't get out, and Podfather's all lonely up there with Sweets. Good luck up there with Sweets, Podfather.
I'm having a
What are you trying to say? We're having a great time up here.
Sweets got some new equipment.
You can't see the background, but we're having a party up here.
I hear. I heard Miss Meg bailed out on you.
Miss Meg is the best.
I know, we miss Miss Meg. So
I haven't had a cigar in months. I'm having a cigar today.
Wow.
I know. Yeah.
I hooked them up.
Yeah, missed out.
Nice. Good. So we're so guys, again, I'm in the garage. You know, everybody knows that we don't record weekly. We record all these in one big lump sum. So I'm still stuck in the garage.
So are you in the garage because Stacy's sick of you?
That's probably
so you're living in the garage now, right?
My bed's over there.
You got a nest in the corner?
Yes, exactly.
Hammock.
Yeah.
You're sleeping in the hammock.
He's not allowed in the house. That's why he's not doing it in the house.
Exactly. No, I want to smoke my cigar, man. That's our tradition.
Yeah. Right. That's a story we'll tell our listeners, but we all know why you live in the garage now.
Yes, exactly. So that's why, exactly. So
those meetings you've been hosting, they're going pretty good.
Oh my God, our support meetings at Genesis House. If you go to Friends in Recovery podcast, you'll see the community events. Genesis House is doing 2 meetings a day, 12 noon and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're getting people from all over the country. We really appreciate it. We got a huge following nurses. Nurses, hello, ladies and men. We love you guys. You guys are our front line. The stories I hear
You're our heroes.
You are. And that's coming from a first responder right there.
That's right.
From the Podfather. So
that's right.
So guys, if you go to Facebook, look at our Facebook and everything's on there. The last couple of shows, guys, we didn't give our number out for some reason. I guess just because we're so populated.
Whoa, what happened?
I know. We completely forgot about our numbers. So
what number is it? Is it 1?
1?
2? What number are we talking about? Is this a phone number?
Well, Alexander Graham Bell was number 1, I think. So he gave me number 2. So
number 2, okay.
2 on the phone.
Yeah.
So, I'm pulling it up now. I'm going to give you the podcast number. It is 617-379-1163. That's 617-379-1163.
And I like that number.
Yeah,
good number.
Yep. The Podfather likes that number too.
I love that number.
Yeah. So real quick, guys, we got a very special guest today. Sean. He's a really good friend of mine, and I've known Sean for years. And Sean is well rooted in recovery. He's very spiritual and grounded. He's a person in long-term recovery. It lives and dies by the fellowship. I have never seen a man who is so dedicated to a program that virtually saved all our lives in these, all 3 of us or 4 of us on this podcast. He's just phenomenal. He speaks all over the country. He helped me through some hard times with some of my kids. I can call Sean up at any time and he'll ask how my son's doing, how are you doing? He just lives and breathes the program. And I didn't want to wait to bring him on because he has an amazing message. So if you guys don't mind,
bring him in.
Away, right? Okay, good, guys. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Friends in Recovery podcast, Sean.
Welcome, Sean.
It's a blessing, an honor, and a privilege to be here, man. I woke up today. I didn't come to. I fell asleep last night, and I'm not a pass out like I used to. I'm too blessed to be depressed.
Love it.
Yeah. So,
Love it.
Sean, you and I go way back, and I'm just so impressed by your recovery. I don't even know if impressed is the right word. Just I want to be around people who have good recovery, and you're that person. You're that person. And how did you get it? Why are you like that? Why do you live and breathe recovery like this? I mean, it's just amazing how you do this.
What I remember what my life was like when I didn't sleep and breathe recovery.
Yeah.
Into that, then I'll continue to eat, sleep, and breathe recovery, because recovery is an active change in our ideas, our attitudes, and our behaviors.
Yeah.
Recovery stops. Stops when I stop applying spiritual principles to my life. So in order to continue to stay steadfast and practice spiritual principles, then I need to be involved in my own recovery by involving myself in the recovery of other people. I want to thank you guys, friends, for the opportunity to be able to participate in my recovery just one more time.
Absolutely. And Sean, your message will give hope to those out there who are still sick and suffering, or maybe even having a hard time in these days now. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot of relapses because of isolation. Maybe people don't want to go on meetings or whatever the case may be, but there's hope out there. They don't have to relapse. They don't have to. There's people like you that are speaking every night across the country, giving the message of hope.
Let me say this. If there's anything good that's come out of this pandemic, is that it's made recovery the epidemic. Instead of me focusing on what I can't do outside of home, it's afforded me the blessing and opportunity to look at what I can do with my recovery from inside my home. So even though I'm isolated from the outside, my higher power is insulating me from the inside.
Nice.
Because now I can see, because of the recovery process, I can see this as a stepping stone and not a stumbling block. I can see this as an opportunity instead of an obstacle. So what's done is it's allowed me to be more in tune and build more intimacy with my higher power. It's fellowships. To become more unified. People are sharing with more courage, being more vulnerable because of the circumstances and situations that we face. So I know that there's like over 400,000 meetings on the Zoom platform as we speak, morning, noon, and night. There's 24-hour, 7-day-a-week marathons. So even though we can't go somewhere and get physically touched, we can be in our home and get spiritually touched.
Absolutely.
And when we get spiritually touched, we're spiritually touched people in our homes. Because listen, the more faith and trust that I have in God, G-O-D, get off drugs, G-O-D, good old dependability, G-O-D, gift of desperation, G-O-D, good orderly direction, the more I am in touch with, the better off I can touch the people that I live with who may be in much more anxiety, have much more fear, do not have understanding. The stronger my recovery is, the stronger I can make my home. And right now, I really can't go too many places, but I can definitely go to Zoom, and I can definitely go to God, and I can definitely be here today with Friends in Recovery to make more Friends in Recovery. And let me say this. Genesis House, I would love to come. Listen, any day of the week, I will come. I'll run a group staff. I'll run for the individuals that are there getting treatment. Listen, I will go anywhere, and listen, people, I will go anywhere to touch just one.
Yep.
If you want me to do what I'm doing now with Genesis House or any other house, I'm more than willing.
Yeah.
Because recovery's been good.
Reach out on our phone number 617-379-1163 if you want to get a hold of Sean. That's our number directly to the studio to us, and we can get you hooked up with Sean. Sean is definitely an amazing person in recovery. Sean, I remember when Podfather, you have any questions for Sean? I'm sorry, I'm taking.
No, I'm really pleased that you're on the show, Sean. You took time to come on the podcast. I love what you're saying. I feel your message. I've been sober a long time myself. I can remember isolating, not wanting to go out, being paranoid, just trying to live a life playing solitaire 24/7, not eating, not sleeping, just doing drugs and drinking and just having a miserable existence. And now with
I know.
this staying in and not being able to reach people like you can, it's so good to be able to go on a meeting like with Zoom. With the technology we have today really affords us the ability to keep our recovery going. It's new, it's different, but it certainly has its qualities, great qualities, I believe.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing that
Yeah,
just by virtue of the fact that we're here right now, doing what we're doing right now.
it's amazing.
Speaks volumes.
It's amazing.
Sean, being a man of such tradition to the program and upholding every traditional standard that you can in your life and for the program, what do you feel this Zoom thing is? Because this is not traditional. This is not your normal. This is not your everyday average. Go to a meeting, sit there face to face, have the meeting after the meeting before the meeting, the speaker, the whole 9 yards. What's your takes on tradition as far as this goes?
I believe that I know for a fact. First of all, I have a gentleman that I sponsor that lives in North Carolina, and he's been involved. And I just spoke at his group last Thursday. He's been involved in a group on Zoom for quite a while, for a couple of years, because there's people that live in rural areas who have to travel 125, 150 miles to get to a meeting.
Yeah.
And some of them are in poor physical health, and some of them don't make a whole lot of money, and they just can't afford to 125 miles, 3 days a week, back and forth, trying to feed their family, trying to live, gas money, and all those other things. Sometimes it's bad weather. You're looking at 18 inches of snow. So this particular platform has been helpful to people in rural areas way before the pandemic came. So it's been put into practice already. But I just think that it's an outstanding tool, and nobody can get infected meeting this way. No one can infect someone else by meeting this way. And right now, where I live in the state of Rhode Island, they're saying groups of 5.
Wow.
Okay, should 6 feet apart. Groups. You can't hug, you can't circle up, you can't hold hands. So I believe that with this platform, lives are being saved, lives are being touched, and also if groups still choose to meet. This is not my opinion. This is my belief.
Mhm.
People tend to live what they believe. Groups will still choose to meet with what's going on out there and what we're told to do every single day. I believe it's just reckless. I believe it's irresponsible. And I believe that it's causing harm to individuals who attend the meetings and the people that they have to go home to that they may be infecting without even knowing that they're infected. Because, and I'm not talking about an outside issue. It's not an outside issue because this is affecting people in recovery all around the world.
Absolutely.
It's affecting where we meet. It's affecting how we meet. It's affecting how we feel. And if you're not, well, I got to talk about the elephant in the room, because if we're not directly affected by the coronavirus, you're definitely affected by the stress that's attached to the coronavirus. And so stress sends out a lot of people out of our doors. So with the stress, we can take it to one of these platforms and we can raise our hand and share what's going on, and we can broaden our base so we can have a higher point of freedom. Because when you're in a meeting with people, I don't know anybody in North Carolina. Well, you're probably gonna now. I don't know anybody in East New York, Brooklyn, but you're probably gonna now. I don't know nobody in South Philly, or you're probably gonna now. I don't know nobody in Palm Beach, California, or you're probably gonna now. And what that does is that allows you to have more outlets, to get different perspectives, and to hear and see how other people are dealing with what's going on now and how they work their everyday program. You may get a different perspective, a better perspective, a new perspective, some more tools for your toolbox that you didn't have, because a new idea can't be grafted on a closed mind.
Amen. That is
right.
so true. Sean, I like the point that you made about the hugs and holding hands. I miss the holding, and sweets, be nice to me. I miss the holding hands in the room because it makes us all connected when we say the Lord's Prayer or we say the serenity prayer, and I get the power and the feeling and all the the energy from the room when the prayer is said, and that really closes the meeting off for me, and gives me that energy from everybody in the room, knowing that I'm loved and that everybody in that room cares for me. I don't get it from these meetings, but I do get the love that is going around and the feelings that are going around. So I'm getting somewhat of the energy. But is that something you miss too? Because you're a big hugger. Every time I see you, give me a big hug, and you're shaking my hand and the whole 9 yards. And that's a little different world too. I never even thought about that piece.
I love hugs, man. Hugs, Hugs, help us grow spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I do. Hugs, not drugs. I do. You know what I mean? I do miss the hugs. But you know what? I will not put anyone's life in danger, and I will not put my own life in danger, for the sake of a hug.
Amen.
Right now I have to hug the spiritual principles. Right now I have to hug my literature. Right now I have to hug my higher power. Right now I have to, hug, life from a different platform.
Absolutely.
And thank God that I'm able to do that with the help of many people. People always talk about how many people I help, and I've been listening to your CDs all these years, and someone screenshotted the CD from a convention I spoke at like 15 years ago, and like I want people to know that way more people have helped me get to where I'm at than way more people that God is using me to help meet them where they're at.
Sean, on that note, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to do a commercial, and we're going to come right back, and let's talk about that. How you get help from doing all this, and how you how this keeps you going. So, Podfather, go ahead.
Friends in Recovery podcast. We'll be right back with Sean and Ed and Mike, the Podfather.
Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery. Welcome back to the Friends in Recovery Addiction Recovery podcast. We want to thank our sponsor, Genesis House, for supporting this show, along with individuals in recovery and the people that love them. Friends in Recovery Community of Support holds events across the country sponsored by Genesis House in Palm Springs, Florida, Marlton, New Jersey, Newtown, Connecticut, and Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. The Friends in Recovery Addiction Recovery podcast is powered by your likes, follows, subscribes, and shares. And please be sure to do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review. And now here are your Friends in Recovery.
Hey everybody, welcome back, Friends in Recovery podcast. I'm the Podfather here with Jersey Ed and Spiritual Sean.
Spiritual Saturday.
Just call me Sean G. That's what everybody.
Sean G. Nice, yeah, Sean G. I got to tell you, I'm listening to you, and you got this karma, you got this way about you, man. This is good stuff. Keep going. Tell us some more.
Real quick, guys, I'm going to do Jersey Ed's podcast pick of the week. We do after the commercial, we do a podcast pick of the week. We want to honor other podcasts that are doing is what we do here, getting the message out, and I listen to other podcasts. Of course, Friends in Recovery and Sober Pod is a really good. Is one of my favorites too. But the Jersey Ed podcast pick of the week. Sweet, give me that drum roll. Thank you. And is the Addiction Podcast, Point of No Return. Host Joanie Sigal. This podcast addressed hope and recovery, opinions from individuals, friends and family, parents and associates who have been or may be addicted to opiates, heroin, cocaine, prescription drugs, and want to overcome the addiction. There are interviews with former addicts, stories of having gone through failed rehabs, parents and loved ones that describe the horrors and the ultimate methods they have sought to help to save lives. No return is when an individual has come to realize that they need help. The podcast gives hope and inspiration for recovery. You can find the Addiction Podcast Point of No Return wherever you get your podcasts from. So that's Jersey Ed's podcast pick of the week, and it's a good one. And I figured it would be good, Sean, because the point of no return is, how many times did you see that? How many times did you hear that? How many times, that one time in your life when you were at that point of no return, Sean, and you turned to this program and said, fuck, man, I need some help.
The truth is that I didn't turn to the program.
Mm-hmm.
God turned me to the program.
Mm-hmm.
Because my best ideas brought me here. My brain has never been my friend. One side of my brain sells me bullshit. The other side of my brain has always tried to buy it. So I was prayed into the rooms of recovery. That moment of silence, I remember sitting in my first meeting, and after I spent 24 days in a treatment facility, and I did that moment of silence, and I got choked up, and I said, this is how I got here? I said, why would anybody want to pray for a piece of shit like me, man? Why would anybody want to pray for a loser, a bum, a son of a bitch, a ruthless bastard? Because there's two words that could describe me. I was despicable and I was pitiful, man. I was pitiful. I made my parents cry all the time. I would do anything to stop them tears from rolling down their face. I just didn't know how to. I had no clue that I had no clue. Somebody reached out their hand to me in a meeting, man. That's why we say meeting makers make it. And some people don't like that statement, meeting makers make it. Well, tell you what, stop making meetings and tell me where your ass is going to make it to. I can tell you right now.
Yep.
Penitentiary.
Yep, absolutely.
The morgue. I don't use no matter what, man. You ain't gonna see me holding no nip or smoking none of that bullshit. I'm down for life. I'm not down with death. When I got clean, I had one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel. And if you could have told me 30 years, 7 months, and 8 days later, I'd still be here alive at 53 years old, that's only the grace and mercy and the love of the fellowship and the program, man. Amen, and these steps, man. And these traditions.
Yep. Absolutely.
And this God.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear
somebody reached their hand out to me and told me, welcome home. And I've learned that home is a feeling, not a place. They made me feel at home. So I have a responsibility to help other addicts feel at home. And that's what I do. That's what I do. My God made a way out of no way when I saw no way. You talked about the point of no return. I absolutely do not want to return to active addiction ever again. Recovery may not open up the gates of heaven and let you in, but for me, it definitely unlocked the gates of hell and let my ass out.
Yep.
And I'm staying out.
Yep.
Just for today, through his grace and his mercy and his love, and people like yourselves who continue to help others who need others to help others to need others. Because if we're not helping, we're hurting.
That's so true. That's so true. It's it's a powerful message that message is so powerful what you just said. And why would somebody, that almost got to me, Sean. Why would somebody pray for me, the piece of shit that I was, treating everybody like crap, treating my kids like crap, treating my family, my grandmother who would do anything for me. Why would they pray me into a room to get better? Why? I get it, brother.
I got no problem getting on my knees every night, every morning. I've been doing it for a long time. And you know what? It's commonplace.
Me too.
I love it. I'll tell you. And it's only about 10 seconds. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. But when I'm down there and I got my eyes closed and I'm thinking about where I came from and where I'm at today, and I get up and I look in the mirror, because I do it in the bathroom. I look in the mirror and I say, thank you, God, every time I do. I was at a meeting, and a guy named Kevin, He's passed away since. Kevin was a transvestite. People used to ridicule him, laugh at him. He was sober. And he used to say at the end of the meeting, meeting makers make it. And you know what? That was over 30 years ago. And meeting makers do make it. Without this program, without the 12 steps of recovery, without the praying and being kind to each other and listening, keep my mouth shut and listen. And listen to people that lived under bridges speak, people that were lawyers speak, people from all walks of life. And then at the end of the meeting, that hold hands and say the Lord's Prayer.
Mhm.
And man, I'll tell you, it's powerful. It really is powerful. This meeting is a mystery. I don't know how I got here. I really don't. It had to be from people praying for me too. When you just said that, Sean, it had to be for people praying for me, because when I did ask for help, I got the help. It wasn't easy. This wasn't an easy road, but I got to say, where I'm at today, I wouldn't give this up for a boatload of money. Nothing takes the place of sobriety. Nothing.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Sweets, what's your thoughts on all this? You're this is pretty powerful, Sweets. What are you thinking?
I was a prisoner in my addiction, and finding my path to recovery, finding my personal recovery process was like freedom. It was like being opened up to a world of people where I didn't have to pretend to be normal. I could just be me. We all had the same defects. We all had the same insecurities and fears, and we were all working the same program to overcome them. So like I spoke the same language that they all did. And, for years I had spent so much time around my family while they were, they had expectations that I would just stop doing drugs and be normal. And I couldn't. And I was pretty disappointed in myself because I couldn't. And I know they were disappointed in me. And when I found this group, these people where, they didn't expect me to stop doing drugs and be normal. They expected me to stop doing drugs and still be fucked up, but just be sober and in recovery. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I can do that. Like, they're like, yeah, you're a fucked up person. I was like, yeah, I am. And like, it's going to take you a long time to recover. I was like, yeah, it will. And they were cool with that. And, I think that was a game changer for me, was just having access to another group of people where all of a sudden I was normal.
Yeah.
Because my life didn't make sense around the rest of the normies, like everybody else. Like it didn't make sense. So it was good for me. It was huge. It was powerful.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I want to say something. Thank you for sharing his tweets.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was a prisoner. I've been a prisoner of my own mind. And the gods on duty were officer shame and officer guilt. And I feel right now for my guys that are in the maximum state prison in Rhode Island that are not able to be recipients of the meeting that I put on for them every other Wednesday night. I just wonder how they're surviving without having any of us being able to go in. And I'm going to see if there's something that we can do on the platform that we're able to do now eventually. But, that's it's going to have to come from way, way up high, so those guys can have something. I like how you said that your parents thought you were just going to be clean, but you was, still going to be, all fucked up. And for a little while I was, but as time went on and the more I participated, it became less and less. My dad and mom would be so proud of me to be with you guys right now, to see what I'm doing with you guys right now. I buried my dad July 1st, 9 months ago. And my dad had a massive stroke. He had a shunt in his brain, a feeding tube, a trach, and that went 37 days neurological ICU, 65 days into adult acute rehabs, 8 weeks in a skilled nursing home. He came home, the man who ran 3 Boston marathons, the U.S. Marine Corps Marathon, the Ocean State Marathon in Rhode Island, 3 times each. He would run every single day. Now was in a gait belt and a walker in a wheelchair and was dealing with cancer. I was supposed to go to Washington State to speak at their convention, and it was the night before I was supposed to get on the plane, and my dad had a stroke, and he was at Rhode Island Hospital, and I had to call them back and say, I'm sorry about your plane ticket, but I'm with my dad right now because I knew that's where I was supposed to be. because recovery taught me you don't run from responsibility. You run to the responsibility, because the quality of your character will be stronger, you know. And I canceled my flight, and I started taking care of my dad. I had to turn my life completely upside down so my dad's life could be turned right side up, because that's what recovery taught me. We go from being self-centered to God-centered. And my dad needed me, and my brother and sister helped a lot. But I lived here with my dad. And I remember the first time I had to change my dad because he had an accident. And I was wiping my dad, and my dad said, "Sean, I'm so sorry I got sick. I didn't mean to get sick. I'm sorry I messed up your life and your recovery." My dad's the one that drove me to treatment. I flatlined for 1 minute 43 seconds. I was found unresponsive on his kitchen floor, and they brought me back to life. And I said, "Dad," I said, "this is not ruining my life. It's just rearranging my life. Now you're the child and I'm the parent, because you was the parent and I was the child, and you wiped my butt. So I'm just returning the favor." An expression of gratitude for you being my dad. I loved my dad so much. I've been married twice. My dad was my best man both times. I would just call my dad like every other day and say, "Dad, I just want to say that I love you so much. And I'm just so glad that you're my dad." That's how tight we were. But God loved my dad more than we did. And my dad's in a better place to pray for me than I am for him. And I sit in this home that he gave to me, that he bought in 1968. And I have so many memories here. And because of the recovery process, I have way more good memories than bad memories. But sometimes the bad memories come up in my sleep and want to attack me and make me feel regretful and make me feel painful and powerless. And that's when like my man said, I hit my knees, man. You can't get clean on your back. You got to get clean on your knees. Recovery is not sexually transmitted. You can't fix feelings with feelings.
You're amazing.
I keep praying, I keep staying. I keep praying, I keep staying. You know, and I buried my dad with dignity, honor, respect. We lowered him in the ground. And the U.S. Army popped those shots in the air and handed me that flag. And when they handed me that flag, I never got a feeling. All my sponsees and hundreds of people in the program and family all came together when they handed me that flag. That feeling that I was trying to get in every bag and every rock and every pill and every bottle and every pipe and weed. The feeling I got from handing that flag to me when he said, "On behalf of the United States Army and the President of the United States, we send our sincerest condolences." Mm-hmm. I never had a feeling like that all my life, and recovery allowed me to experience that feeling.
That's what recovery does.
Sean, man,
recovery does. Amen, brother.
Sean, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you. It was a powerful message, and if anybody has anything for Sean, you want to get a hold of us, 617-379-1163. Sean, we're going to have you back. You have a strong, powerful message, guys. And you know, this is not our normal show. We normally don't do shows this way, but this was amazing. This is one's going to go down in the history books of people are going to watch this over and over and get that message, because there are going to be people going through the same things that you're going through. There are going to be people who are doing what they're doing, but we want to thank you, Sean, for everything, and stay in touch with us.
Sean, Friends in Recovery are honored to have you on this podcast today. You touched my heart today. I'll never forget you, man. And I can't wait to do this again. Man.
Big honor for me,
big
man.
honor for us. Big honor for us. Yeah, we'll be doing this again soon. Friends in Recovery podcast.
One more thing.
Ed?
I'd rather be sitting in a meeting thinking about getting high than sitting in a dope house thinking about getting clean.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a lot easier, that's for sure.
Amen, brother. Stay sober, everybody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for doing it. Stay sober.
That concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Thanks to Genesis House for supporting those on the path to recovery and for keeping this valuable resource free for our Friends in Recovery community. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates. If you're interested in becoming a guest on the show, email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. If you can't get enough of Mike the Podfather and Jersey Ed, you can catch them on Answering the Call, the First Responder podcast, available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube.